All right, man. Welcome to the Better Sports Show. I am your host, Tequila Tone.
And I am Ryan of Croton, your friendly neighborhood comic relief, degenerate sports better.
All right, man. So Ryan, you know, with the Super Bowl this weekend, like what gets you excited about the Super Bowl?
I'm really excited that this is the only time of the year where it's socially acceptable to bet on things like Gatorade, a coin toss, how long the anthem's going to be. If you do that any other days of a year, 364 days of a year, people will think you have a problem. You do it on the Super Bowl, you're just one of the guys. And honestly, I think that's beautiful. But to be serious for a moment, I think it's great that everybody kind of comes together. You're with your friends, your family, you're making some good food, you're chilling with your boys. America kind of just stops to watch a game, have a little fun, right? Check out the commercials, check out all the different cool stuff. We have the Super Bowl halftime performance. I think it's great. We're going to have this big sporting event, and I'm excited for it.
So, speaking of halftime performance, are you looking forward to the Usher performance? I really wasn't sold on it, but I heard that Little John's going to be a part of the show, so I think that might be worth getting excited for.
So for me, it's going to be very, very hard to top the Super Bowl halftime show a few years ago with Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Kendrick, and all those guys. When that got announced, I lost it. I was so happy to see like some '90s hip hop represented because that's a huge genre for me. It's going to be hard to beat that. And then last year, your boy successfully predicted that Rihanna was going to open with "Bitch Better Have My Money." Told everybody at the party, they were like, "No, that's not happening." And you know what? It happened. For this year, I'm kind of the same way. I'm going to keep an open mind though, because the Super Bowl halftime show, like you said, it always has surprises, cool stuff, cool choreography. So I'm going to go in. I'm gonna have an open mind, and yeah, I'm hoping that I do enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, you got that one right last year. I would have definitely faded you because for some reason, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me. I was thinking Run This Town. I was pretty sure that she was rolling with Run This Town. I mean, I thought that it made sense. Um, yeah, and I definitely didn't see, Bitch Better Have My Money. I didn't see that one coming. So that's dope. What are you thinking this year?
I don't know, honestly, but something I've learned over looking at the odds and just like the openers for the last Super Bowl halftime shows, it's never the song you think it is,
Right.
right? It's always something a little different to throw the audience off, get them hooked, be like, oh, I wasn't expecting them to open with that. So I'm not going to give a prediction because I don't want people to bet it. Because honestly, this year I don't have any information inside or anything like that. So I don't want to put anything out there, but I will say, yeah, it's probably not your first choice. Is usually how they script it.
So like what's the Super Bowl? What's the day of look like for you? I know me, man. I'm completely tanked by the time the game gets going. So usually me and my boys get together and lately it's just been us, going to a friend's house, watching it together, playing some beer pong, flip cup, things like that, get the pregame going. A few years back when it was in Miami, we actually went to Miami to do our pregame down there, and get to experience the strip a little bit, have some good times. But what does the Super Bowl day look like for Ryan?
So for me, I'll wake up early because I always wake up full of energy. I'll go downstairs. I have a home gym, probably going to bang out some upper body. And then after that, it'll be the same thing. I'll be meeting up with the boys. I'm actually the sober one. I've DD'd more times than I can count over the years. So I'll be making sure everybody gets home, everybody gets up and down the stairs, gonna drop 5 units on some random parlay. I'll grab and be like, hey, bud, maybe don't do that. You're a little tanked right now. Yeah,
Right.
not the time. But yeah, just be chilling, getting the game in, and just enjoying myself, kicking back, watching the plays. Some of my best memories, I remember we were at a friend's apartment up in New Hampshire. Yeah, the wonderful state of New Hampshire. That's God's country up there, fucking wild. And we were watching the Bengals Rams Super Bowl, just shooting the shit. It was very enjoyable.
Nice. Nice. So all right, man, let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the ways that both teams can win this game this Sunday.
So for me, right, to give you the objective, unbiased analysis, I'll start with the 49ers side. First off, Brock Purdy, this is your time. There is no tomorrow. A lot of people think you specifically can't win this game. You're a game manager. You're not that guy. You're the guy picked last in gym class. You were the guy picked last in the NFL draft. This is your time to go out there, have the legacy game, and shut everybody up. On top of that, I want to see the 49ers take away Kelsey, that security blanket, if they're going to win this game. You remember in the first half of the Ravens game, Mahomes was scrambling around. They almost got him, but in classic Chiefs offense fashion, Kelsey, first down, right? That happened a few times. So I really think that's going to be key, all right? And I know that's pretty broken record, basic analysis, but we say it every week. They got to stop Kelsey. Sometimes it works. It worked at the beginning of this year, but he's really stepped back up to his previous form. And then lastly, I want to see Kyle Shanahan really stick to a basic, simple game plan. The only real criticism people can have of him, that excellent offensive mind, sometimes he can get a little too cute. He'll be calling the triple end arounds. He'll be calling the reverses with Debo, getting Debo caught behind the line of scrimmage. In the game against the Patriots, Falcons Patriots Super Bowl, he threw the ball a lot in what were clear running situations. And I don't think that's good, right? To get so hyper aggressive like that. So Kyle Shanahan, if you have the lead late in this game, just play by the book. Keep it chill, stand on 17 if you're playing the blackjack and go for the win.
Kyle Shanahan, of course, with him being a head coach, he plays a major role, but I really think, you know, his mindset alone is one of the things that, it needs to be in the manner to support sticking to the book. Don't do anything outside of sticking to the book. Protect Brock Purdy. Utilize Christian McCaffrey. Make Patrick Mahomes as uncomfortable in the pocket as you can stand. But more than anything, Kyle Shanahan, if you do happen to take the lead, stick to the book. Let's not get cute out there. Let's not replicate, what we've seen with those Atlanta, New England situations. I mean, they were lucky last week that they were able to, or 2 weeks ago that they were able to make that comeback against Detroit. Um, I mean, some would say that Detroit shit the bed on that one. With that blown lead, Kyle Shanahan getting a little bit of the medicines that he's dished out over the years, as far as, well, those gifts that he's dished out over the years of blowing leads. Um, maybe this is his opportunity to be in a position where, okay, takes a lead and just run the freaking ball and end the game. So I do think that he plays a major role in that. Kansas City, man, simply get Travis Kelsey the ball. Get Patrick Mahomes some help. They were able to show up last game, which in my opinion was pretty unexpected. Again, you were high on the Chiefs. I was
Yep.
all over Baltimore. But they got Pat Mahomes some help early on. He went to his go-to guy, Travis Kelsey. I don't expect to see anything different here. They got that young defense that is playing at a high level. I'm willing to guarantee that we'd be talking more about their defense if their defense was on another team and didn't have the type of offensive prowess like a Pat Mahomes and a Travis Kelsey or a Pacheco. You would hear more about this defense. Um, as far as that offensive line, man, stepping up and containing Nick Bosa, that's going to be huge for the Chiefs. So there's kind of a mismatch there. But that's what they would need to do to keep Nick Bosa at bay, inevitably not, allow the 49ers to make any major plays on defense. So that's where I'm at with that.
I think that's excellent analysis, limiting the 49ers and those explosive chunk plays for down the field throws to Ayuk, right? Stuff like that. And remember, God doesn't hate the Chiefs like he hates the Lions. So if it's a furrow like that, like we saw last week, where it's bouncing off the defender's face mask, I don't think that's going to go as well for San Francisco as it did against Detroit. They don't have the spiritual debuff. Now, on the Chiefs side of the ball, I think they have to establish the run with Pacheco. The 49ers, we saw it against the Packers, and we saw it against the Lions. You can run the ball against this team, against that vaunted defense. I think if you get that run going early, you start making them have to crowd the box. You can run the play action. That's when it'll really open up the middle. Mahomes can do his classic, right? Kelsey down the seam, hit Rashee Rice between the numbers. I think that would be a huge, huge advantage if the Chiefs are able to do that. And lastly, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Mahomes is your guy. He is 100% your guy. He's your generational player. The ball should stay in his hands as much as possible. I'm just throwing this out here now. I know people talk about, going for it on four, if not going for it, kicking the extra point. If they're in a position at the end of a game, they're down and they're coming down to tie a touchdown to score, I would go for two. I wouldn't risk anything else. I would keep the ball with Mahomes and give you guys the opportunity to win. So just throwing that out there, I think on the Chiefs' offensive side of the ball, establishing the run to open up the pass. And on the defensive side of the ball, Spagnola is a wizard. He is excellent. We've seen him shut down young quarterbacks before. He's against a guy in Purdy. Like I said, there are some questions, a lot of questions there. Spags in the postseason has been known to cook, really, really take over games. We saw him against the Ravens. The Chiefs' offense kind of sputtered in the second half, but the defense completely kept it and they shut it down. So I think if it's another Spags masterclass incoming, and it could be, that would be huge for the Chiefs.
All right, man. So one of the things that when it comes to being analytical with these games and things of that such, I like to always get the player's perspective. Um, I want to talk to guys who, played at an elite level and have been in the locker room, have been in the film room, and work with some of these guys that we're watching on Sundays to kind of dive into that mindset of what preparation looks like and things of that such. So today's guest, man, he is ranked number one. He's tied for all time in career interceptions at the University of Georgia. He was drafted by the Washington Commanders. Okay, he played 4 years in the NFL. He picked Aaron Rodgers off twice in one game.
Mm-hmm.
The only individual to pick Aaron Rodgers off twice during an MVP season. Ladies and gentlemen, Bacarri Rambo. All right, Bacarri, man, thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited about this opportunity.
For sure, for sure. So before we start talking ball, man, let's get into kind of some of your background here. Now, you graduated in 2008,
hmm
went to the University of Georgia, played safety. Now, coming out of high school, you also played quarterback. So how did that transition into UGA playing safety? How did that work?
It worked out pretty well for me, actually. Just being a quarterback in high school, my coach taught me how to watch film, and that 90% of football was played above my shoulders. So once I got to college, it gave me to understand. I still had that mindset of watching film and studying film and knowing what I was looking at when I was watching film. But playing quarterback in high school gave me the ability to think what a quarterback is thinking when I'm playing the middle of the field in the deep thirds or in cover two. Once I see routes, I can see routes developing. Once I know that a quarterback knows that we in a certain coverage and he know our weaknesses in that coverage, he know where to go. But with that being said, I also knew the weaknesses too because I understood I had the same mindset as a quarterback. So that helped me out a lot.
Now, you played on a pretty star-studded defense while you were at Georgia. I mean, I can think of names like Sanders Cummings, Jay Hugh, Sean Williams, Alec Ogletree, guys like that. How was that playing with those elite level guys like that, and how did that assist in your transition into playing in the league?
I'll play with those guys, man. Those guys make my job a lot easier. I always think it was all about, oh, I want to finish the season with 100 tackles at safety. But that's not a good stat to have if you have that many tackles because that means that the line of defense, the front two lines of defense aren't doing their job. I mean, if you got 100 tackles as a safety, obviously that means that the running back is getting to you and you have to bring them down. But those guys, I had a good group of guys I played with that made my job a lot easier. Jarvis and Justin Houston and Ogletree and Cornelius Washington, those guys continue day in and day out each Saturday getting pressure on the quarterback, which made him make mistakes that later on came to bite him in the butt. It translated over pretty well just playing with those guys in the pros, or playing with those types of guys in the college and translating to pros. Just knew that I always had somebody that was going to do their job, that I didn't have to go out there and do too much. I just need to do my job and do it to the best of my ability.
Now, so in 2013, your first year in the league, you get drafted by the Washington Commanders. You were on that team that had
Yep.
those 5 head coaches. Like,
Yep.
how was that on a daily basis, man, at practice being and you and I know, I mean, back then, maybe the world didn't know what was coming, but how was that being challenged by, those high level of offensive minds like that?
It was pretty intense. Practice was always fun, especially when you got RG and Kyle Shanahan drawing up plays and making things happening on that side of the ball. You never knew what Kyle was bringing to the table that day. McVay, I remember joking around with him and always cutting up at practice with him because he was the tight end coach during that time. And that same year I got drafted was Jordan Reed. So we used to joke about and tease each other about me guarding Jordan Reed and about Georgia and Florida football. Raheem Morris was my position coach, so it helped me out tremendously just having him in the meeting room with me day in and day out, just teaching me the game, teaching me small things and paying attention to detail. So yeah, those guys, man, that was a great group of guys, and I'm excited for those guys in their future. Uh, I'm glad to be part of that journey that they when they first started, and just to even say I know those guys is a tremendous blessing.
Absolutely, man. And that very next year, you had the game of your career.
Right,
2 interceptions against Aaron Rodgers during the MVP season. Like,
right.
what was your thoughts that day? Did you feel something different? I know that first one came in the third quarter. Like, what was your mindset on how you were able to, shoot such a prolific stack, like picking Aaron Rodgers off twice in one game?
Um, like we talked about just a minute ago, it was just having those guys up front: Marcel Darius, Mario Williams, Jerry Hughes, Kyle Williams, and those guys was putting pressure on him all day. They did a tremendous job by putting pressure and not allowing him to sit in the pocket and pick us apart. Uh, it was a great feeling. I kind of felt that morning that something terrific was going to happen and change my career around because I thought that shoot, I was on the back end of my career that I was just a special teams guy, but when those plays happened, I kind of was down on myself. But before those plays, but when those plays happened, it gave me a ton of confidence to encourage me and give me that confidence that I was lacking.
Absolutely. So your last year was like 2016. I know 2017 you um did sign, for some time with Buffalo.
Uh-huh.
2017, I believe, was your last official season. At that time, did you just mentally know that you were out of it, or was there some physical ailment that prevented you from continuing your career?
Man, I didn't think that I was out of it mentally. I just think my body, just the injuries. It was injuries that I wouldn't say career ending, but you could say career ending because that was my last time playing. I think that those injuries didn't allow me to go out there and be 100%. Even though I still could have played. I just didn't feel like myself. So that's when I knew that it was time for me to start finding another path and another career. Because the injury that I was facing, man, I couldn't even run like I was capable of. So yeah, that the injuries kind of slowed my career down or took me out.
So, Bacarri, hey, what's up, man? I'm Ryan.
What's
Thanks
up?
again for joining us here tonight. I wanted to pick your brain on the Super Bowl. I've seen in the media this week, Nick Bosa went on record. He threw out there that the Chiefs' offensive line get away with a ton of holds. And as a
Yeah,
former player, I want you to weigh in on that. Is that good that he's putting that out there so maybe the officials will notice it? Or is he giving the Chiefs bulletin board material?
I think he's giving them a little fire. Uh, Things like that, you go to him before the game. You'll put a rep to the side, and be like, hey, watch him for holding. You know, I know you've seen it on film. These guys hold. I don't think the proper way was to do it through the media, because they watching it, they hearing it, and that's just something that they feel like, oh, he's saying it in the media. We need to work on this, or we need to pay attention to this, or that's what we need, and we don't hold. Like it's just something to just get on fire or make them think about. I think he should have went to the refs before the game, like head coaches do. They do the same thing. They know that. certain things happen on the field that don't get called. They don't go to the media and say, "Hey, such and such be holding all the time," or such and such uh, pass interference or whatever. They go to the refs before the game to let them know. Like, and I think that's the best way to do it. You get them before the game uh, to notify them on the things that you see on film that's not being called. They get them just throughout the week. If you do it before, they have time to forget it because they have things going on. They have the Super Bowl and all these other things running through their mind. But before the game, it's like, oh, I make sure I pay attention to that. Yeah, So I think he should have done it in a more appropriate way or the right timing.
That's really interesting to hear you say that, talking about working the refs before the game as like an outside fan. It's really cool to hear these like ins and outs, these little ways of gamesmanship guys get advantages. So that's really cool. And it segues perfectly into my next question. Now, a lot of the talk this year and in the previous years has been that it's very hard to play defense in the modern NFL. As a former
Yes, it
defensive
is.
guy yourself, yeah, you already know where I'm going. Do you think the rules are slanted towards offense? So you're out there, you get the big stop, but then they blow the whistle. Oh, you touch the
Yeah,
quarterback. Can't be doing
yeah,
that. 15
yeah,
yards.
man. Yeah, I think it's more they're more leaning towards the offense because I think that's how they generate money for the NFL for the Shield. Uh, nobody don't want to see a 3-0 game because defense was to dominate the game. So they got to find some type of way to put points on the board. So yeah, I think that they are more favor of the quarterbacks, um, offense, receivers, and all that. My question is to the NFL is why quarterbacks never get fined. I mean, if it's cover two and the quarterback sees it cover two, and you throw it in the flats and you see the corner sitting in the flats, and the corner got to make a decision or blow him up or you know let him catch it, and he blow him up and he get a flag for personal foul for roughing unnecessary roughness. But I'm doing my job. Like the quarterback know he got a job. He got to read the coverages and know that's not where the ball's supposed to go. Why he don't get fined? That's my thing. It's like why quarterbacks don't get fined when they make a dumb pass. Like you put a receiver in a dangerous position, and I got to deliver this hit. And I'm getting fined, but the quarterback's in there still collecting all his money on his paychecks. Uh, no penalties, nobody pointing fingers or anything. But I'm sitting there getting money taken away from me, getting everybody talking trash about me on social media because I'm doing my job. Quarterbacks got a job too. Read the damn coverage. Get it to the right place. Don't put your receiver out there in trouble and get him knocked out.
I think you absolutely nailed that, talking about how people, they want to see the offense. I'm a Patriots fan, so, it's okay to hate me. And I remember after the Super Bowl against the Rams, well, talk the next day, right? We had just won the Super Bowl and people were complaining that there wasn't enough points scored. And again, I
Right.
think, yeah, it's like, guys, defense wins championships. And
Yeah.
that's a very interesting perspective too. The fact that no one looks at the quarterback for throwing that suicide pass, for leading a guy across the middle. Of course, the
Never.
linebacker's not going to just do two-hand touch and let them get the first down. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
a really, really, really cool insight
Yeah,
you shared there, bro.
like I'm here to type. I'm here to lay the receivers out and deliver blows. But I'm gonna do it in a fashionable way. Like I'm not trying to get the personal fouls to hurt my team. The quarterbacks don't think. Now you got some of them, the good ones, they know not to do things like that. But sometimes they do. They try to squeeze it in those tight windows, and then it's like a boom boom play. Like what I'm supposed to do. And then people criticize a defensive player when if I hit him low, I hit him in the leg, that's not a personal foul. But if I hit him in the head, that's a personal foul. Now, I done heard from a couple receivers that they rather me hit them up high than hit them low. Because if I hit you low, they could tell your ACL you out for the whole year. But if I hit you high, you got a concussion, you out a week, 2 weeks, I'm coming back. So, it's different ways to look at it. I just think they need to review all of this stuff, man, and make it fair for the defensive player and offensive player and start finding these quarterbacks.
Quick follow up on that. I've noticed when the QBs run, they're sliding really early this year, and it's frustrating a lot of defensive guys because they have to make the tackle, but the QB is going down for the slide, and if you make any contact with them at all, even if they slide early, that's a never flag. Is that something you'd like to see changed or maybe amended in the rules?
Yeah, I think they should figure something out with them quarterbacks sliding. Like you have guys fake sliding. You have quarterbacks trying to get the first down and they reaching the ball out, then you push them. You holding the ball out like that, you got to respect that. Hey, I might get blown up. And the referees have to see that too. Like, I understand that quarterbacks are the face of the teams and things, but they got a job as well. And they can't only protect offensive players, they have to protect defensive players. Yeah, I appreciate them taking the crack blocks and all of those things out. Still, there's some things that they can fix to benefit defensive players because they try to make it seem like we're the villains and everything, but the shit. Sometimes the quarterbacks are the villains. They make bad decisions, and we have to correct them. But we get punished for correcting them because we don't blew up a receiver.
I used to wake up early on Sundays to watch like Sports Center and other ESPN shows, and I think I learned more just from listening to you and talking to you during this interview than I did from years of watching all those shows. So thank you for sharing that insight, man. That's awesome.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem.
Now,
No problem.
Super Bowl Sunday coming up, biggest event of the year. What's your prediction? Who you got? You got
Oh,
Chiefs, you got Niners.
I want to say the Niners because of and the lights went off. I want to say the Niners because they pass rush, but it's scary. It's kind of I'm in between Travis Kelce, best receiver on the Chiefs. He gonna work the middle of the field. The 49ers strength on defense is the middle of the field. They got two of the best linebackers in the league. And they pass rushers. They got good defensive line, elite defensive line. If the Chiefs offensive line can hold up, I want to say the Chiefs. Like it's hard to go against Tom. I mean not Tom, but Patrick Mahomes and Andrew Reid. It's hard to go against them because those two are like Phil Jackson and Kobe together. Phil Jackson and Michael. It's hard to go against them. I can't. I'm a. Ooh, who got the most Georgia players on their team? That's what I'm gonna have to go with. Who got the most Georgia boys on their team? I'm gonna say the Chiefs, man. I'm gonna say the Chiefs. 27-20.
27-20.
I
Yeah,
like it.
20, 27. Probably, yeah, I'm gonna say 24-20. 24-20. I think the Chiefs will
24-20.
get. Yeah, I think the Chiefs will get it done, man. They defense, man. You can't over. Everybody talking about. Even myself, I mentioned the 49er defense, but shoot, the Chiefs defense is pretty legit as well. Like Chris Jones, he come in and just every time he in there, he's very disruptive. Sneed locking up. I think it's Trent McDuff. He's locking up. Like they got the right players, and Spag, the defensive coordinator, he does a tremendous job putting those guys in the right position to showcase their skill set, man. Like he put them in the right position every time. Like that's why I'm picking the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs. I think they're going to do a good job confusing Brock Purdy. I actually think they gave the 49ers. I mean the Chiefs too much time to game plan against them. That's 2 weeks of game planning, and I think Spags he's going to do a good job slowing them down.
All right, man. Awesome. So you heard it. Bakari thinks the Chiefs are going to win it 24-20. We appreciate the dedication, man. I mean, the guys out there with his kids at track practice. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time to
Mm-hmm.
be here with us today,
100%.
boss.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. I look forward to doing more shows with y'all guys.
Absolutely.
Guys, you just watched our first inaugural interview with Bacarri Rambo. If you want analysis from former players, betting advice, coverage of current news stories in the sports world, we got it all. We're here because of viewers like you. This is our very first show. And remember, watching is good, but subscribing is better. Join us here on the Better Sports Show. It's going to be a great journey. Thank you. Let's ride, boys. Let's see where this goes.
You got me feeling lucky. I'm putting everything on black.